Please welcome Pastor Rich Winson to provide today's invocation.
Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, the maker of heaven and earth, you are great and powerful and present everywhere. Nothing happens apart from you. In love, you have given men and women creative talents and abilities, making this an exciting event here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you for blessing this day of performance, practice, and party. Help everyone to do their best and keep all of us safe. God, you are faithful. In the strong and loving name of Jesus, amen.
Race fans, please welcome 9-year-old Liamani Segura from Racine, Wisconsin for today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Liamani Segura.
Thank you.
Fantastic performance. Everyone is ready to see one of the best races of the year. Thanks for joining us today on NBCSN on all day long from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the Freedom 100. Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires. I'm Kevin Lee. This is Anders Crone. And this is John Doonan, the director of Mazda Motorsports. We talk about how much we look forward to this race. I got to believe this is your biggest day of the year, too.
Anytime you pull through the tunnel here, the arms hair stands up, and it's terrific to be back in Indianapolis and making dreams come true. And that's really what this day is all about. That's what the Mazda Road to Indy is all about. Someone said the other day, we're the gatekeepers of the dream and providing hope to young talent, and can't wait to see what happens here on today's big stage.
And it clearly has become the path to IndyCar, also sports cars as well. It's easier to list those that have not driven in the Mazda Road to Indy. 25 of the 33 starters, 27 of the 35 that were entered have been in the Mazda Road to Indy and in Indy Lights. And what a story here this is for Davey Hamilton Jr. And Davey qualifying for his first race at Indianapolis. Then he jumped into a helicopter and he went and won the pole for the little 500 sprint car race at Anderson Speedway.
It's just brilliant to see, and great to see the diversity here in action for Davey Hamilton Jr. as he's now getting ready to take for his start here at the Freedom 100. But yeah, I can't imagine what a big transition that's got to be from the Indy Lights car to the short track car.
John, let's also touch on what's going on tonight at Lucas Oil Raceway, the Carb Night Classic, with the first two steps of the Mazda Road to Indy.
Yeah, we have the USF 2000 Championship, we have the Pro Mazda Championship, all part of a very clear path that we've tried to provide for the industry, young talent from all over the world. Anders mentioned mechanics, engineers, and race teams now climbing the ladder. We try to get everyone and train them to perform at their best, to feel alive as they do it, and look at the stats don't lie. It's really working, and it's candidly like putting a bunch of little leaguers in Yankee Stadium. We're now putting young race drivers here at the greatest race course in the world.
And it also can produce broadcasters like our own Anders Krohn, who went up through the Mazda road to Indy. John, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the day today.
Thanks for having me.
John Doonan is the director of Mazda Motorsports. Now, one of the other, it's now become a highlight of the month of May. We had over a third of the field at your event for TheraPlay not too long ago.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant out at the Children's TheraPlay Foundation, which do occupational and physical therapy with kids aged 18 months to 13 years of age, and we were so lucky. 13 Indy 500 drivers came out to race up and down the stadium. Some 550 people showed up, and it was just a brilliant event. And Joseph Newgarden, who made his debut in the Horsepower 500, ended up winning it. Brilliant event, and thanks so much for all the drivers for coming out and supporting it.
Great program. The drivers love it. Has a real impact on the community. All right, drivers are strapped in. We're about ready to go. Indy lights from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's 2 days before the Indianapolis 500, the largest single-day sporting event in the world. This is a massive crowd, though, for Indy Lights. Just about ready to go. Let's go downstairs to get it started.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Arie Luyendyk Jr. to give the command.
On behalf of Cooper Tires, gentlemen, start your Mazda engines.
Former Indy Lights race winner, Indianapolis 500 starter, and Anders, he once sat in your seat as our analyst. We see Arie Luyendyk Jr. back here in Indianapolis. Kyle Kaiser also was with us in the booth for this one. Last year's Indy Lights champion, set to start his very first Indianapolis 500. Welcome, Kyle. What are your nerves like this weekend?
But now I'm just really happy with everything. We're getting the car set up for the race, and I'm very, very excited.
Cars are rolling away, led by Dalton Kellett starting his first Indy Lights race from the pole in that number 28 teal and black machine for Andretti Autosport. He's finished third in this race the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's always been so strong here on the ovals, and in particular at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All but one of his podium finishes on the Mazda Road to Indy have come actually on ovals, so it's sort of become a bit of a specialty for him, and has a really good feel for things around this place for sure.
So second time by is when we will get going, and here's how they will line up. Kellett, and on his outside, the championship leader by just 1 point, his teammate Patricio Award.
And I think Pato's just got to keep it clean here on the opening laps. We saw what happened on the opening lap last year with Colton Herta out of contention early, so that's what he's got to stay away from. But then Ryan Norman with yet another good qualification, and Victor Franzoni making his Freedom 100 debut on the outside of row 2.
Franzoni starting in his first oval race. Santi Urrutia, the championship runner-up the last 2 years. You know, he has a lot of experience, and Colton Herta didn't make it to turn 2 last year.
Yeah, exactly, but he was so quick, and I think at the moment he was probably the odds-on favorite to win the race up against Matthias Lace, so he'll have learned a lot from that, I think, and will look to have a stronger performance today.
And the final row includes Davey Hamilton Jr. making his third Indy Lights start. He did a pair of races at Laguna Seca a couple of years ago, but the first on the oval, a lot of short track oval experience. And Aaron Telitz starting in the back. He was the fastest in the no-tow report yesterday. Safe to say anyone can win this race.
Yeah, absolutely is. On board here with Colton Herta. This is going to be a great view for us at the start of the Freedom 100. Can't wait to see, you know, are they going to make it 3 wide? Are they going to make it 4 wide? Are they even going to attempt to make it 5 wide at one point in time during this race?
All right, let's talk about keys to this race with Anders Insider.
Well, Kev, we talked about it a little bit in the opening of the show. At this particular race, winning is everything. You kind of completely forget about the championship, and the only thing that matters in your mind at this point in time is crossing that yard of bricks first. Now, it's been unseasonably hot and humid here in Indianapolis, and that means that the cars are floating on top of the surface. All the oil from the asphalt and the rubber comes to the top of the surface, makes it very, very slippery. So I think we're going to see these drivers really floating on top of the surface, and because of that, tire strategy is crucial. No pit stops in Indy Lights, or at least no planned pit stops, but it's a 40-lap run, which is way longer than an IndyCar stint is. So these drivers really have to manage the tires to not overdrive them early. So I think you might see some strategy being played out early, and some drivers deciding to hang back a little bit, waiting for a couple of cautions to bunch things up, because yeah, you can so easily burn your tires off, especially in the dirty air that's generated from the tires behind you.
And it is hot today, and it's going to continue to heat up. High of 89 is expected, so the track temperatures will be changing a bit throughout this race. Admittedly, it's a short field, but it is a stout field.
And in practice, they were all running 2 and 3 wide, the entire thing just so bunched up. So I think we're going to be in for a crazy action-packed race. It's a bit like a rallycross race.
Don't be surprised if they stay lined up 2 by 2 throughout this race. Ready to go, the biggest race of the year in Indy Lights. The Freedom 100 is green from Indianapolis. Andretti Autosport teammates 1, 2, 3 up at the front, and they go single file to make sure they all get through turn 1.
Yeah, and so far so good for everyone here. Colton Herta made a move around the outside of Santi Urrutia, and now Urrutia just running a bit wide, potentially just seeking a bit of clean air through turn 2, but it's Ryan Norman popping around the outside of Pato.
He's been fast, and then Victor Franzoni thinks about making it 3 wide, going on the high side around the outside.
Well, there goes all my talk about tire strategy on lap 1. They've already forgotten about it. Victor Franzoni in that stall red Indy Lights car up in the gray.
How is it being on the top side of 3 wide, Kyle?
Man, I thought I learned my lesson trying that a couple of years ago on the first lap, but he seemed to make it stick, and he must be very comfortable with his car right now.
So Pato Award has dropped back. You see the green accents on his car. The championship leader who started second, he's going to settle in. It's a long race.
It is indeed a long race, and as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, they may not be as quick as the Indy cars, but they're still doing average speeds of 180, 190 here, so certainly no slouches, but all this fighting here for second place is allowing Dalton Kellett just to kind of cruise away up front.
And that's why it's happened. Most didn't think anybody could separate, but the fighting for second, third, fourth, and fifth has helped Kellett.
Colton Herta there. I really like the line that he's got into turn 3, just going up a little bit on the high side, getting clean air, and look, he's going to make it 3 wide now. Let's see, does he stay in it, or does he think better of it and lift off into turn 1? No, he keeps it full throttle.
And O'Ward, the championship leader, will back out for the second time.
Oh, that took some commitment there for Colton Herta, as we now have Victor Franzoni around the outside of Kellett for the lead.
Victor Franzoni to the front.
They're really making that high line work, and I'm shocked to see that this early in the race. I think this is going to play a huge factor for the rest of it.
And 3 wide now as Ryan Norman goes to the high side. He's battling Kellett for the lead, trying to make it stick.
Oh, be careful, boys. Michael Andretti's going to be yelling in your ears right now. He doesn't want teammates taking each other out, and that was too close for comfort.
This is a hectic first couple laps. I am holding on to the edge of my seat right now.
Look at Franzoni dive down to the bottom. Now he noses in front. Colton Herta in that blue car lurking back there in 4th. They're side by side for 2nd. Norman gets right in front of Kellett.
How good is this battle? Lap 4 of 40, a 10th of the way into this race, and they're battling as if it's the last lap. So, well, I was completely wrong with my tire strategy assessment. I think they've all completely forgotten about that.
On board with Colton Herta running in 4th right now. He sees the side-by-side battle for 2nd ahead of him. That's Norman on the left side, Kellett on the right side, just noses in front for 2nd.
And you'll kind of notice that the moment when you start off the corner shallow all the way against the inside like Ryan Norman did in the orange car ahead of Colton Herta here, you get pinched and you lose momentum.
While we watch this battle continue for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, let's check in with Katie.
Well, guys, remember, Colton Herta crashed very early on in this race last year, and this year we've seen much more consistency from him, because last year was either he won or he was in the back of the pack. This year, he's finished on the podium all but one race this season. And when I asked him about that maturity level, he said, well, you know, guys, I'm graduating high school this year, so I'm growing up.
Yeah, he had to go back home and take a final here after the 2 road course races in Indianapolis.
Oh, did you see that wiggle there from Victor Franzoni? On the inside, all the way down in the apron, and again another wiggle for Victor Franzoni. He's got to be starting to work his, as we get a replay here. Look at that, look at that correction there for Victor Franzoni. Almost loses the rear end of that car, and to those looking at home, that may not look huge, but Kyle, you know, that is a massive moment, and you're lucky not to be in the wall there.
If you ever see the top of somebody's left hand, then you know something's not going right. You should never see that.
So Dalton Kellett is back in front. First laps he's ever led in Indy Lights. It was the same for Victor Franzoni. That's him in the Soul Red 23.
And I wonder if Victor Franzoni and Juncos Racing have set up that car just a little bit too aggressively, so that it was very, very quick on the opening lap, but now just starting to struggle with the rear end. So the driver does have some tools inside the cockpit. Kyle, I don't know, what do you think Ricky Juncos is going to be telling Victor Franzoni at this point?
I hope he's playing with his tools and getting it as safe in the rear as possible. You have the opportunity to stiffen the front bar, soften the rear bar, whatever you can do to keep that rear planted.
And now it's Colton Herta going to the bottom side of his teammate, and Herta leads at Indianapolis.
And it doesn't look like Dalton Kellett was going to put up much of a fight there. I think at this point he's probably just playing it out and figuring out how his car works in dirty air. Really like the line that I saw from Dalton Kellett there. The moment when Colton Herta got by him, Dalton just shifted up a half a car width up into the gray, and that'll give him clean air on his wings. Now you see he's doing the opposite. Now he's going down lower. So a very smart, strategically played here so far for Dalton Kellett.
Santiaruti there in the red car with the yellow helmet, lurking in 3rd position. Dalton Kellett right in front of him. The leader is teenager Colton Herta in Indy Lights at Indianapolis.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, when we're in break, you can talk. Yeah.
That's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I was maybe you know, okay. That was amazing.
Oh man. You know what? You know what? If there's a caution on lap 20 and you're running 5th,
Yeah.
you're pitting for tires.
Yes.
For sure. Yes. Well, even if maybe if you go this run, that is a huge run.
Santi slowly just worked his way up too. He's kind of playing it smart.
Oh, but this is good. He's getting pinched here. See, it's all about that high line. all about that high line. Victor's got it figured out now. Crossing over there early. Oh, see that arrow wash?
Brought it down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
He's going high and then
yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's good to run.
They really got these cars working well.
Oh, dude,
the first year we couldn't get them to run in traffic at all.
Right.
So you know about the map change that's basically made it like a triple race a little bit?
I mean, it's great. Yeah. It's a bit like the lights cars when I was doing them, where it basically was exactly this. Basically took place.
Seriously. Look at that.
Talladega. So now what I want to know is, so when he's sitting here, can he time it so that he's past him by the yard race?
Yeah. And we have not been in side by side, correct?
Close.
Yeah, that is close.
He didn't stand there.
Dalton Kellett and Colton Herta from Andretti Autosport continue to swap the lead in Indy Lights, the Freedom 100 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Herta is in front now, but not for long. Every single straightaway seems to produce a change. Now it's Dalton Kellett in that teal and black car for Andretti Autosport. Teammates with Colton Herta. On Herta's car, George Michael Steinbrenner is a partner, the grandson of the legendary Yankees owner. And down in the pit box for the Andretti Autosport team, that's where we find Katie.
And Dad Brian Herta a little bit too nervous to talk to us right now while he watches son Colton Herta. So we're going to catch up with Rob Edwards, the Chief Operating Officer for Andretti Autosport. Rob, we're watching a fantastic battle between your cars up front. How nervous does that make the team down here in the pits?
Well, everyone's obviously running very close together, so there's always a little bit of concern. But, you know, we spent a lot of time last night talking about looking after each other, using your teammates, working together as a team. And, you know, so far they're doing that. Obviously, there's a long way to go. But, you know, we said look after each other for the first 35, 36 laps. And then last 3 or 4 laps, have at it.
Mazda's made a change to the engine, so we're seeing this close racing like we're watching right now. How do you think the drivers feel out there?
I think they're probably concentrating pretty hard. I mean, obviously, you know, compared to last year when someone was able to run away from the field, I think it's obviously it's a lot more the type of racing we're used to for the Freedom 100, and just hope that one of the 4 Andretti cars is at the point in lap 40.
Small but mighty field, Kevin.
Katie, we're keeping an eye on that number 23 Sol Rit car for Juncos Racing. We've got a report that Victor Franzoni could have a tire going down. Right now, he's waged in battle with Santi Urrutia in the red Bilardi car going around the outside for that position. That's 4th.
And Rob Edwards said, yeah, take care of each other for the first 35, 36 laps. I think what he meant is take care of each other for the first 35, 36 feet, because these guys battle it out, and look at how high then Santi Urrutia runs and Victor Franzoni. That's a great save as well. This is brilliant racing.
And Dalton Kellett back to the front. In front of Colton Herta, Pato Award right there in 3rd. Urrutia is in 4th. And Franzoni, Ryan Norman, Aaron Telix, Davey Hamilton Jr. Top 7 are separated by a couple of seconds. Top 6 by just over a second.
And I don't really think that there's an issue with the time here, Victor Franzoni. I think it's just a matter of having those couple of slides early on, and what that essentially does is that then becomes the general handling of the car. You can treat a tire such that if you have a couple of big slides, then it won't recover. So I think that's what's happened to that tire, unless you think differently, Kyle.
No, I think that's very well put. We actually were just experiencing that out there during our IndyCar practice. We put on a set of tires, the car was understeering significantly, and we could not get it to recover. So I think it's very important for the guys to get on top of their tools early so that the car is consistent throughout the race.
I've got different opinions. Some have told me if you try to run side by side like we're seeing right there with the Ward on the bottom and Urrutia on the top, you're going to burn up the tires. Some others have said, no, these Cooper tires will last and let you do that. What do you think? How do you manage the tires?
Well, personally, I've always taken more of a cautious approach at the beginning of a race, but it looks like these guys are running pretty good, but you're seeing a few guys starting to fall back. I think that it depends on their car setup and how well they're working with their tools.
Well, I think the one issue with running up in the gray, as we see Santi Urrutia does now, is that there's no rubber down there, so it means that you're essentially the rubber of your tire goes straight on top of all the rock in the asphalt, so it's going to be more abrasive by nature of that. So I think he's got to be a little bit cautious. Certainly 2011, I loved running the high line here at the Freedom 100, and my tires were down to the cords.
This time, Dalton Kellett is not willing to concede the lead. He hangs on as they went side by side, and on board with Colton Herta hanging on.
Oh, and that is the very definition of aero wash. You saw the moment when Colton Herta got behind the gearbox of Dalton Kellett, just got a big wash, so that's that turbulent air. And now, because of that, Santi Urrutia with a huge run around the outside. And that's just such a difficult situation there, and you almost become a passenger in the car. I mean, Kyle, you've experienced now the new aero kit with IndyCar, and I can only imagine that being even worse.
I found it very difficult, and I think a lot of the guys, even the veterans, are struggling to run in traffic right now, but I know the setup is out there. There are some guys that are making it work. It's just going to be a matter of staying on top of your tools and continuing to make changes to get the car to work.
So here's Santi Urrutia going to the lead for the first time.
And this race is just flying by, and Urrutia, if this holds, will take over the championship lead. 7 points to Colton Herta, and then Pato O'Ward falling back to third, but still a long way to go here. And I was just going to say how far into the race we are already and how quickly it's gone by. 17 laps down, coming up to complete lap 18 as Dalton Kellett passed into turn 1 into the lead again.
The championship battle is going to change virtually every lap with the contenders right up there. Urrutia is on the gearbox now of Dalton Kellett, and oh, what a major draft this is. That's as close as you can be, and Colton Herta is there locked in, the top three right there together.
For a moment there, I think Santi thought he was at Talladega and was doing some bump drafting. That's what it looked like, but keeping his nose clean, you certainly don't want to put this Dallara IL 15 nose box up against the rear gearbox of Dalton Kellett.
Look at the top 7, all nose to tail. Aaron Telix in 7th is not out of this race, but Victor Franzoni now is as he comes to pit lane.
And Kevin, it's been a big debate with Juncos Racing. Should we bring him in? Should we not? They couldn't quite figure out if it was a leak or if Victor had just simply flat spotted the tire early on in the race. But unfortunately, it looks like Victor will be relegated to the back of the field as he comes down this long pit lane for an Indy Lights to change the tire.
Back up front, Urrutia working on Kellett. 1, 2, 3, still all right there. Kellett, Urrutia, Herta.
And you know, the one difficult thing Juncos Racing and Victor Franzoni have now is it's going to be a challenge for them to get that tire change done and get him back out on the lead lap. If they can get him back out on the lead lap, he could actually be in a really good position if the full course caution were to come out, but it's going to be very, very difficult here. Colton Herta up the inside of Santi Urrutia.
Urrutia is trying to hang on this one, and they are going to go side by side, it looks like, through the corner. Through turn number 4, back on the main straightaway. Urrutia not giving it up, and he hangs on to second place.
Yeah, this is really good experience for all the drivers right now, because when it comes down to the last laps, they're going to know the limits of these cars.
Urrutia washes out just a little bit, chasing Kellett.
In concept, I'm a fan here of Santi Urrutia's line of just running that high line, getting clean air on your wings, but I do think it has the potential to catch you out if it wears the tires out a little too quickly here. Colton Herta, this is not a place you want to be. You don't want to get pinched off here.
Whoa, look at the run that Urrutia had up front on Kellett. I think he had to back out of it there.
And a lift there for Colton Herta to try to go to the high side, but so did the 2 leaders, and that gives Pato O'Ward a huge run.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this as Urrutia goes to the outside. Trust me, there are going to be more lead changes. Stay with us. Urrutia now to the front. Dalton Kellett chasing side by side for third. There's more of this to come from Indianapolis. Okay, so what's going on with Franzoni?
So they didn't have enough pressure in the air gun. They're still debating. They're like, well, maybe we should just leave him out and see if it goes flat.
So he basically just rolled through the pits and went back out?
They couldn't get the tire off.
Might as well change it.
Ricardo's down here debating with the engineer. So.
3 in 20 laps, amazing. Single file down through.
Since they can't win, they'd be best.
Careful, boys. I had a puncture last year, so that sucks.
Good point. Yeah, but change it and go back out. And
Yeah.
just finish the race.
Go high, don't go low.
Guys, they think maybe just a sensor went bad. They're now thinking he didn't cut the tire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they would stop because, like, when you're running in the pack, there's no way you'd be able to run with the pack if the tire was going down.
Did they think the two big wiggles might have had to do with the tire pressure going away?
I think he had those wiggles and he was like, guys, I think something's up with the tire.
Guys, I'm going to interview Ricardo for this.
Okay.
All right, I'm not going to tell the story. I'm just going to say we saw him down pit road.
Here we go. Go high. Go high. Doggy.
They have the 2 lanes.
Yeah.
Next one above.
We've already had nearly 70 passes for position in this race. The Indy Lights Freedom 100 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dalton Kellett just went back to the front. Santi Urrutia in that red car right behind him. Colton Herta looks to the outside as Urrutia goes to the bottom. And it's Urrutia again leading at Indianapolis in the Freedom 100. We saw Victor Franzoni roll down the pit lane a little while ago, but he came back out. Katie, what do you know?
Well, I'm here with team owner Ricardo Argucos trying to figure out why Victor Franzoni's tire was not changed that first stop, Ricardo.
Well, we have a leak, so we see in the data that the tire pressure was dropping, and now we are below the 14 pounds, so it's very risky now at this point. The tire is not safe to drive anyway, so we knew that we're not going to finish the race, so we was waiting for a yellow, but obviously with no yellow, so we had to come in at the first time. Unfortunately, we make a big mistake, so the gun was not ready, and then now we change it again. So obviously the race is over now, so we just need to try to learn from this mistake.
He is now 2 laps down, Kevin.
Look at this, 3 wide, headed into turn number 1, on board with Herta from the outside. Kellett will back out of it, but they stay 2 wide for the lead.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Colton Herta really had to make that move, though, because he had such a big run. And if he had lifted, he would have almost lost even more ground. And now going for the lead here on the inside of Santi Urrutia. Brilliant stuff.
And Kellett is right back behind him. Pato Award also lurking in 4th. Colton Herta in the blue and white car. The 98 is the leader. Santiago Urrutia, 2nd position. The red car. They come very close together, side by side once again.
And a bit of separation generated now to Dalton Kellett, and I think that's because the outside line there of Santi Urrutia gave a bit of dirty air to Dalton, so he lost some pace. So now these two got to play it very, very smart here, because they want to try and break away here and have a battle to themselves, but if they fight too hard, it's going to be the entire pack.
Katie, tell us some more about the leader, at least for this second. It'll change in another second or two.
Yeah, Kevin, there's certainly no love lost between Santi Urrutia and Colton Herta. Remember back to race 2 of the Indy GP, they had a hard battle for the lead there where Santi Urrutia left a tire mark on the outside of Colton Herta's side pod, and they are not spoken since, and they love to battle just like this.
Well, and let's not forget about what they're battling for. They're battling for a check for $1 million. And Kyle Kaiser, you've been in this position as they're going to make it 3 wide again here coming into turn 1. Kyle, you've been in this position before. You're fighting for $1 million and the chance to make it into the Indy 500. You've done that. How is that weight on your shoulders?
I mean, you're thinking about it every single lap you're turning around here, and I think it's important because a lot of these guys have learned that racing the series last year, you got to finish races, and they're showing respect to each other. While it is very exciting, everybody's out there, they're giving each other room. It's just very, very good racing and very exciting to watch for us.
Well, I think they're only going to give each other room for so much longer here with 12 laps to go. I think with about 5 laps to go, all that love is going to be 100% lost that Katie was referencing.
So this top 4 here, Santi Urrutia, Colton Herta, as he looks to the outside, Pato O'Ward, they've all won races. And then there's Dalton Kellett, the number 28 teal and black car, looking for his breakthrough win. How does he approach this?
I mean, I think he's doing everything right. I really like watching his lines and just how he's been playing it, going high, going low, figuring out exactly what he needs to do. And don't forget, he's got Darren Manning in his ear, a long-time veteran in the Indy 500. Obviously, he has done so much, so he's going to be in his ear telling him everything he needs to do here. Work on your weight jacker, work on your tools, do everything, move up, move low. So I think he's got a lot of tools here at his disposal, and obviously he's one of the most experienced drivers here in the field, so I think that could very well benefit him here as the top 3 on the road as they run here are the top 3 in the championship. So these guys have a lot more to lose than he does.
So we watched the top 4, but 5th back there in that second red car is Aaron Tielitz, who has moved back into position. Herta on the high side, Urrutia on the low side, and Herta is back to the front.
Yeah, all this side-by-side action is getting the leaders to start having to check up, and you're seeing the guys in the back really starting to pull back up. So this is going to be a 6-car battle here coming to the end of the race.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is great. This is why the Freedom 100 is such a great race, because it's just these super hungry drivers that all want to be in the Indy 500 one day. You have these brilliant Mazda-powered 450 horsepower Indy Lights cars that are just super fast, and Colton Herta loses momentum, runs high off turn 4.
Patricio Ward now can get to the bottom side. Andretti Autosport teammates with 10 laps to go, virtually even at the line for second place.
And watch here. Oh, there he goes. Pato O'Ward slid up so wide because he got the dirty air there from Santi Urrutia, lost big time momentum, and Colton Herta very, very wisely moved up the track just a little bit to give Pato that a little bit extra room to not have contact. And now Colton going for it.
On board with Herta, trying to retake the lead on the bottom side of Santi Urrutia. Kyle Kaiser, IndyCar rookie, Indy Lights champion last year, is with us. So where do you want to be on the final couple laps, especially the last lap, Kyle?
You know, I've been watching that, and I don't even know where I'd want to be at this point. I mean, I've seen guys maybe get a good enough run because you can run the high line, but it could be anybody's race. I mean, I've seen a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide, so it's anybody's race right now.
At the run that O'Ward had, he'll back out of it, back there in 3rd. Looking back from the leader's car, Colton Herta.
Did you see the big understeer that Santi Urrutia got coming off turn 4 on that last lap? He had full steering lock in the car and washed all the way up against the wall, so got to be careful. The Cooper tires may be sturdy, but they're not going to hold up to that for too many more laps.
Urrutia again, and O'Ward to second. Herta slips to 3rd, Kellett still in 4th, Ryan Norman is back in 5th position. We'll say it again, who would think 8 cars could produce such entertainment?
This is great, and Pato O'Ward this time the recipient of some dirty air there for Santi Urrutia, lost some momentum, and now it's going to be an Andretti Autosport 3 wide into turn 1.
Ryan Norman is right there too, side by side for 3rd, Kellett on the high side. And he moves back to 3rd in front of Herta.
And you know, hypothetically, I doubt this is the case, but hypothetically, Aaron Tielitz at the moment sitting in 6th, could very well have been saving his tires this entire race to this point and saying, okay, with 5 laps to go, I'm going to go for it. I doubt that's the case, but hypothetically, he could have done that, and that could have paid off big time.
I'm trying to think where you want to be going on to the last lap. And I think not leading is smart going into the last corner, because you're seeing guys pass every single straightaway. So, I mean, I think being 3rd, 4th would be a pretty good position, because the leaders are going to be going 2 wide on that last lap.
And I see what Pato O'Ward's doing, driving it all the way down to try and break the draft, but you just can't do that. So you're almost better off just keeping a straight line going down the front straightaway and then try and tuck into 2nd so you don't kind of generate this big accordion effect on the rest of the field.
We are nearing 100 passes for position. So in that last lap, if you are second, do you want to take the lead going down the backstretch of 3? Or do you have to wait to try to get it right before the line out of 4?
Well, I think history proves itself there. It's almost always done on the final straightaway, so I think you need to run it up high in the middle of the corner, and then you need to get a good run off, probably in 5th gear, and then pull 6th gear as you're getting the draft, and then pop out. I think if you're in the lead, you're not going to be in a position. And look at this, Pato O'Ward is going to pop, and look, he is indeed well ahead at the start-finish line. So yeah, you definitely want to be in 2nd spot entering the final straightaway.
5 of the 8 in this race have led. Patricio O'Ward is the latest.
Dalton Kellett had an almighty wiggle coming off turn 1. I think there might have even been a little bit of contact with the wall there. You saw the gray dust spray. Is now Colton Herta going to try and make it 3 wide into 3.
2 of the top 3 there, still teenagers. Colton Herta's only 18. Santi Urruti's the old man of the bunch. He's what, 21?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Santi Urruti is the one that needs this win. Out of the 3 of them, is the one that needs this win the most. He's been in Indy Lights for 3 years now. He's just narrowly missed out on the championship 2 years in a row, so he badly needs this. And look, is he going to try and pinch Pato here into turn 1?
I think Patricio O'Ward would disagree. He told me yesterday, I have to win the championship. I need the Mazda scholarship money to continue my racing career, and the best way to do it is win races, and this race pays 50% more points, 45 points to win instead of 30.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, but I'm not sure I'm a fan of what I'm seeing here of him weaving up and down. I think what he's doing there is actually scrubbing speed and enabling the whole pack to stay closer. So I think he needs to just keep it a little simpler going down the straightaway and just kind of make one move to the inside, stick there, and let the other driver go around the long way around.
It's still a 6-car race.
Here we go. Colton's going to go for it. 3 wide.
To the outside, Herta. O'Ward to the inside. O'Ward to the front. Herta trying to hang on. He'll squeeze into 2nd position. We are inside 5 to go.
And Colton now is in the position that he wants to be in. So let's see if he's happy staying here or if he still tries to go for it. I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of soft pedals it a little. Nope, he's not going to soft pedal it, is he? What in the world is going on?
So I was watching his in-car, and he was running very, very high in turns 3 and 4. So you could tell he's really testing how high he can run. So he's ready for these last couple laps.
Dalton Kellett with a great run here on Santi Urruti as well, going to pop down to the inside, but that means no draft, so I don't think he'll be able to get this position. Santi Urruti instead up to 2nd.
3 to go, and you saw that yellow Pelfrey car of Davey Hamilton Jr. That might come into play. Race control has already said, get out of the way. The leaders are coming, and here they are.
Oh, Santi Urruti making it not 2 lanes wide there in turn 2, but 3 lanes wide rather, and gets a majestic run off the final corner, or off turn 2 rather.
Urrutia in front. O'Ward tries to follow him. Herta on the high side, isn't ready to give up 2nd position, and he'll hang on to it. Dalton Kellett is still right there. His former Indy Lights champion, Brian Herta, watches.
And that's a very, very nice move there for Davey Hamilton Jr., just going slowly as possible up the inside of the track to let this battle continue. So that's great news for us watching here. 2 laps to go.
Side by side for the lead, side by side for 2nd. Ryan Norman is back there in 5th. Aaron Tielitz in 6th position. Herta hanging on. Urrutia, O'Ward, Kellett, Norman. Top 4 all bunched together. Urrutia squeezes back in front. They're on the north end of the track.
Oh, that's not a smart decision for Pato to go on the inside there. He's going to lose the momentum. That'll give a run to Dalton Kellett now in 4th.
Back on the main straightaway, coming to the yard of bricks. White flag, 2.5 miles to go. They are 3 wide. Final lap of the Freedom 100 in Indy Lights. 4 can still win it.
Pato O'Ward, that was great timing there around the outside, and now, oh no, he's got to go to the high side. This is going to lose the momentum. He's going to lose it.
Top 2 have broken away a little bit, but here comes the rest of the pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, still in play. Down the backstretch, less than a half a lap to go at Indianapolis. Colton Herta swept both on the road course this month, trying to take over the championship lead and win the biggest race on Indy Lights' schedule. He's got a little bit of gap. Past the final turn, back on the main straightaway. Here comes the pack. Award, Kellen, Urrutia, Herta protecting. Award to the outside. Colton Herta has won the Freedom 100 at Indianapolis. His third Indy Lights race in a row. He'll take over the championship lead as the Andretti Autosport and Steinbrenner Group celebrate in the pits.
What a brilliant race from beginning to end, and Colton Herta with that move there on the second to last lap, that really got the job done for him. That was nothing shy of spectacular. That will for sure be the best day in Colton Herta's career, and will put him on every Verizon IndyCar Series team's radar for the future.
That was some incredible racing, and I don't think anybody would have guessed you wanted to be leading the last lap. He did an amazing job holding off Pato on that last lap.
That was just unreal, and it was all thanks to Pato Award just scrubbing off a bit too much speed in the final corner, getting a bit sideways, and that gave Colton a clean run.
0.02 of a second, that doesn't even make the top 4 in close finishes. Jan.
And we just saw Brian Herta give the international sign for "my heart just stopped." How about that last lap?
It stopped for 40 laps. I mean, just incredible. The way these guys race in the lights cars around here, it's always thrilling. We knew it was going to be that again. It's hard to watch as a parent, but so proud of what he did. I mean, just such a smart race, and he cleaned house here at Indy. I mean, this place means so much to our family, and I'm so proud of him.
How much comes from this pit stand, how much comes from the spotter, and how much comes from him in the cockpit, making these key strategic decisions?
It's all him. It's all him out there. I mean, he knew where he wanted to be. He positioned himself. We weren't telling him anything. I don't even listen on the radio. I can't handle it. So just, he did it all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Last year, Colton Herta came into the 3 Indianapolis races leading the championship, but he finished 12th and 10th on the road course, 13th in this race. This year, he swept all 3.
Yeah, and he's really figured it out here. He was so aggressive at the road course weekend, aggressive here again, but really just with that little bit of fine-tuning. And here is the finish, and exactly to your point, this is 200s in Indianapolis Motor Speedway Freedom 100 history. This doesn't even count as close.
Kyle, take us through this onboard look.
Yeah, he got a good gap from Pato coming into the last lap. I thought Dalton might have a chance coming up, but Pato had the run. He popped to the outside, and just not enough coming to the start-finish line, but amazing run.
And let's watch Dad, Brian Herta, celebrating the biggest win of his son's career. I guarantee you he enjoys that more than any of his Indy Lights or IndyCar wins. Colton Herta making his way to victory lane. We'll hear from him, and we'll get back to the pit stop competition with IndyCar 2 coming up. Stay with us. It's Carb Day from the world's greatest race course.
18 years old from Valencia, California. Make sure he hears us when he climbs out of that car. Let it go. As Jim Middleton used to say on this topic of racing. We're going to hear momentarily as the celebration is definitely on. I'll tell you what, who knows, this could be the first couple celebrations being ready on the court this weekend. Very possible.
The Freedom 100 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway belongs to Colton Herta. Colton, dramatic finish. Pato tried his best coming to the line. You held him off. Talk me through this race.
Oh man, that was so crazy. I'm still coming down from the high of it, and you're starting P6. I knew we had a chance. I knew it was going to be tough, and went straight to the front right from the beginning, and then yeah, just made the most of it when it counted, and made a pass for the lead when I needed to.
You took that extra lap after the checkered flags flew. Everybody else hit pit lane. You drove around this place. What were you thinking? What were you feeling as a winner here at Indianapolis?
I just wanted to salute the awesome fans. So many people come out today, and actually a lot of people are here for our race. So yeah, it's a little switch roles where people come for the Freedom 100, the Indy Lights race, instead of the IndyCar race. So yeah, they were amazing. So I thought I had to give them a salute.
His 2018 championship hopes are still very alive, and Colton Herta is your winner of the Freedom 100 here at Indianapolis. Congratulations, Colton.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.